What's up guys, today I'm taking a look at the Define S from Fractal Design. Now this is a new case offering that carries the appearance and a lot of the same features from the Define series, but with a re-engineered focus on custom water cooling support. Naturally, this means a handful of changes to the internal layout of the case, but that's not to say the exterior remains unchanged as well. Aesthetics-wise, it's pretty hard to distinguish the Define S from the R5, if not for the case feet and larger side panel window that nearly spans the full length of the case. You get the same matte plastic front, but this time Fractal has chosen to remove the front panel door entirely, since there's no longer an optical drive bay, a design choice that allows for some hefty radiator support, as you'll soon see. Popping off the front panel, we see a removable magnetic dust filter which hides a boatload of vertically adjustable mounting points for 120 or 140mm fans, giving you 240, 280, or 360mm radiator support. Here you also get one of two pre-installed GP14 140mm 3-pin fans. The white blades cue us into Fractal's classic black and white color scheme, which is always nice to see, though at this point it's still too early to tell whether a blackout version is slated for future release. I should mention that while you do get the same great side ventilation out of the front panel, there's no sound dampening material on the inside, like we saw on the door of the R5, which gives reason to the Define S's marketing slogan, "Silence Redefined." Again. The water cooling frenzy continues at the top of the case, where 3 sound-deadening Moduvent covers can be removed to accommodate all the same radiator options that we have on the front, in addition to a 420, giving us great flexibility and many cooling combinations to play with. Be aware here that you do have a combined thickness limitation of 55mm for the radiator and fan when using a 140, 280, or 420 radiator. Also on the top, we get the R5's same front I/O with mic and headphone jacks, power and reset, 2 USB 3 ports, and a blue power LED in the center. The Define S ships in your choice of having a solid side panel with a removable Moduvent cover revealing a single 120 or 140 fan mount for $80 USD, or an acrylic side panel window for a $10 premium, making this one of the most affordable ATX chassis tailored for custom water cooling. At the rear is your second GP14 fan with an additional 120 mount and 7 wide expansion slots for plenty of PCI connectivity. Below the power supply mount is a removable dust filter which covers your PSU and an optional bottom fan that we'll have a closer look at inside. Removing the side panels is done with 2 captive thumb screws on each side which stay attached to the panel so you don't lose them. What they don't tell you is that if you lose your side panel, you will also lose both thumb screws in the process. While the right side panel is lined with ample material for noise absorption, we get a rather bare steel design for the windowed panel. Now just from a quick glance at the inside, we can immediately see some big changes to the internal layout here that deviate greatly from the Define R5, though we still do get mini ITX, micro ATX, and ATX motherboard support with a pre-installed center standoff for easier installation. Lining the tray are well-placed rubber grommets for CPU, ATX, and PSU cables, with the ATX grommets in particular being much wider and closer together than they were on the R5, which is a nice revision that's sure to be more forgiving for cable management. On the bottom are 4 rubber pads for your PSU to rest on, the fan mount that I mentioned earlier for either a 120 or 140mm fan, and pre-drilled mounting holes at the front of the case for a water cooling pump. An exciting first for Fractal cases. And this is where we address the elephant in the room, or the elephant not in the room, technically. You probably noticed right away that this case lacks any traditional hard drive cages, and yes, Fractal has done away with them completely in order to free up significantly more space for water cooling hardware, which is really what this case is all about. Apart from the pump and radiator, this area can also house a wide range of reservoirs that can easily be installed on what I'm calling the reservoir. This versatile mounting solution allows you to adjust the position of your reservoir to suit your loop configuration, or to avoid clearance issues with other components. A smart design that custom water cooling builders will certainly appreciate. So with the cages gone, the drives really have no other place to go except for behind the motherboard tray, and Fractal does a pretty good job of pulling this off without making too many compromises. On the left are 3 drive trays that each support one 3.5 or 2.5 inch drive with rubber grommets for reduced mechanical noise and vibration. Simply remove the tray by its single thumb screw, screw down the drive, and remount for quick and easy installation. For additional storage, there's also 2 dedicated SSD mounts just beneath the CPU cooler cutout that functions in much the same way. Having only 5 drive mounts in a case like this may be a deterrent for builders with heavy storage needs, but for those in search of an affordable chassis with remarkable custom water cooling potential, it's arguably a small price to pay. Now the ease of cable management in the Define S will partly depend on how many 3.5 inch drives you have installed, though even with a full house, you still do get an 1.5 inches of space to the right of the drives from top to bottom, not to mention all of the room directly behind the motherboard, which measures about 1 inch deep. The ever so useful Velcro straps make a welcome return to the Define series, as the case comes with 4 of them to help tidy up your system. This, along with a generous number of tie-down points, are sure to facilitate the cabling process. So to sum up, what we have here is a case whose form is familiar, but functions quite differently than its Define series predecessor. Obviously, the case heavily targets those in the market for a custom water-cooled rig, but more importantly is that it offers up a ton of premium water cooling features at a not-so-premium price point, making it, in my opinion, one of the best value cases available for custom liquid cooling. If you can deal with the less-than-average number of drive mounts, this is really an outstanding choice for your next open-loop system. But let me know what you guys think of the Define S from Fractal Design and if it meets your expectations for a custom water cooling chassis. Before we go, I want to give a special thanks to today's sponsor, lynda.com. They have tons of in-depth tutorials online for things like video editing. I've actually learned a few new tricks in Premiere Pro CS6 thanks to some of their online courses, which are led by industry professionals who are much smarter than me. In fact, one of the After Effects courses I watched was actually led by the technical support lead of the program itself, which kind of made me feel like I was part of some super secret special learning club. If you guys want to try it out for free, you can check out lynda.com/awesomesauce for a free trial and learn something